4th position. He's got to try and catch Niki Lauda, who is in front of him in 3rd place. And Senna has shown so much promise this year, only to be let down by the machinery for all sorts of different reasons. He won in Portugal, in Estoril, in that appalling wet race. He was 2nd in Austria last weekend, and that is Alboreto in 2nd place. He's on 6 points for the World Championship. Prost is on 9. And Mark Seure's engine is sounding rather sick, which could well explain why Senna got past him so comparatively easily. But there's Alboreto. I said at the beginning of this race that the World Championship of Drivers was looking like a two-man contest now, with Prost and Alboreto making the pace. And you see, there is the official difference, 24.75 seconds to the nearest decimal place.
And if it's overheating of the tyres that's the problem rather than the wear rate, there is just a chance that Prost and Alboreto have weathered the storm, because, oddly enough, I've been looking at the lap times, and Lauda is catching them, but not very quickly, not as quickly as one would expect, bearing in mind the fact that he's got fresh rubber on his car, and they've got the stuff they started with. So it may just be that Prost and Alboreto have been very clever and have looked after their tyres and may be planning to go the distance, or try to go the distance anyway.
Lap 32 now, coming up to half distance, with Prost leading, Alboreto 2nd, Lauda in 3rd place, Senna in 4th position, 5th is Seure, 6th is De Angelis. Now, Martin Brundle is the leading British driver in 8th place in the Tyrrell Renault. Mansell is in 9th position.
And having said that, Lauda is actually catching Alboreto quickly enough. There is Lauda behind Alboreto, so he's got him very much in his sights.
Out of the race, Stefan Johansson right at the beginning, Ginzani, Lafitte, Rosberg, Tombe and Theo Fabi. As Alboreto now, with Lauda catching him, you can see the gap with Brundle in the pits now, incidentally, I presume for new tyres like everybody else. But Niki Lauda making the most of that new set of tyres that he came in for, is going for 2nd place now. He's caught Michele Alboreto, who had made his way up to 2nd from 16th on the grid, and is 25.4 seconds now behind the race leader Prost. And into the pits comes Alboreto right underneath me, so I'll be able to give you an exact timing of his pit stop. The Ferrari mechanics are ready as Lauda goes into Tarzan, now in 2nd place. Alboreto stops. The jacks are under, the gigantic hub nuts are undone by the pneumatic hammers. Up go the hands when the mechanics have finished on each wheel, and out sears Michele Alboreto after a 13.7 second pit stop, according to the official digital timer there. 15.4 as far as I was concerned, but let's take the official one. Not all that quick, because the Brabham chaps were doing it in just about 7 seconds now, earlier today. And as you see, Nigel Mansell, who was in 8th position, is now up with Alboreto, who's having to go comparatively slowly because his tyres are still cold, and this should give Nigel Mansell the opportunity he needs to get past. And into the pits now comes Alain Prost. This is the race leader, and now that should mean that Niki Lauda will get very close to him indeed, with the seconds ticking away, and you can see that the brake pads of the left front wheel are smoking, and the right front. And 18.3 seconds, a slow pit stop, and there's a chance that Lauda will be right up with Prost now as the Frenchman works up to racing speed. And Piquet there in the pits for a new set of Pirellis.
Yes, well, they're all at it. It's a very abrasive surface here, the Zandvoort track, of course, and it gets sprayed with a lot of sand from the dunes, and it really makes tyres, in fairness to the tyre companies, they're very, very difficult to judge, especially when we've had rain all weekend. Now, Alboreto and Prost both had a little bit of a hiccup with their pit stop. Alboreto had a front wheel that was a bit reluctant to to get changed, and Prost had the same with the rear, so they both had relatively slow pit stops.
We're on lap 34. We are watching Michele Alboreto, who is now up to racing speed, although his tyres won't be really warm. And Nigel Mansell, having passed him, will now have to fight to keep the Italian and the Ferrari behind him on lap 34. There's Lauda. And it's crucial at the end of this lap to see what the gap is between Niki Lauda in the lead now, and in second position Ayrton Senna, and Senna is less than 2 seconds behind Lauda as they go on to the 35th and half-distance lap. Prost is in third position, about 10 seconds behind. Mark Feurer is in fourth place. In fifth place should be Elio De Angelis, and it is as he goes past me now.
Yes, well, at least now all the leaders have been in and changed their tyres, so at least now we've got, hopefully, a straight race to the finish. And what a cracking race we've got, because we've got, that is the gap between Lauda and Prost, who's in third place. Remember that Ayrton Senna is in there. Still a bit confused, but we hope as they settle down now, having all pitted. Prost having a little attack, being allowed to go through.
Prost in third place, having passed Philippe Alliot in the Ram, has got about 3 seconds behind him Mark Feurer, who is fourth, but ahead of him in second and first places Senna and De Angelis. This is the half-distance lap. Everybody has changed tyres. They shouldn't have to change them again, because their team managers and the tyre technicians will know what the wear rate is in today's conditions, which are just about perfect. Dry, sunny, and a light breeze now going down the straight, which Alain Prost is going down at this moment. Thierry Boutsen, incidentally, has stopped, and there is Niki Lauda, the race leader, on lap 36. Ayrton Senna is second. Alain Prost is third. Mark Feurer is fourth. Elio De Angelis is fifth. And in sixth position, it's Gerhard Berger. Alboreto came in for pits, for tyres, if you remember, and Michele Alboreto is in sixth position. He's back in the points. We're going to see an absolutely superb second half of the Dutch Grand Prix, with World Championship leader Alain Prost in third place, and the man who's tying for him for leadership of the championship, Michele Alboreto, in sixth place. Niki Lauda leading, Senna second. In fourth position, Feurer. De Angelis is fifth, and they have all changed tyres. That's Senna, second. There goes Lauda. There goes Senna, down into Tarzan. You can see for yourselves what the gap is. Down into second gear.
Yes, except Feurer, Murray. I'm not sure that Feurer has been in and stopped for tyres yet. I think of the leading group, he's the only one who stayed put. Remember, he's on Pirellis, and they were running a fairly hard compound, so it may be, although Piquet has stopped for a change, it may be that Feurer, and there we are, Alain Prost with the fastest lap of the race so far, out on his fresh tyres, and he is going to be chasing very hard. He's got Senna and Lauda in front of him. He's some 15 seconds adrift from Niki Lauda, but it's vital that he gets up into the big points. He wants to be first or second here to put a little bit of space between him and Alboreto, because remember, Alboreto, despite his fairly slow pit stop, is still very much in there and in the points.
Ayrton Senna has just taken advantage of his comparatively newfound affluence to buy a house in Isha in his 25th Grand Prix, in second place, and he's some 3.8 seconds behind the race leader, Niki Lauda, and some 12 seconds ahead of Alain Prost. You saw Lauda go through. Now Senna. Prost third. Feurer is still fourth on those unchanged Pirelli. Elio De Angelis is now ahead of Sierra as they pass our position, and you look at Niki Lauda. Elio De Angelis has taken the Swiss driver, probably by virtue of the fact that he's on fresher tyres, and Italian Elio De Angelis in the Lotus is fourth now. So the JPS cars are second and fourth, and Alain Prost is shattering the lap record, which was held by René Arnoux in a red. He's now on his 38th lap out of 70, in the lead, and looking fair to retain it. McLarens are not in a habit of breaking down.